I've introduced Igor, but I can't overemphasise the value that he's going to bring you. This guy has travelled from Israel to here just to deliver this at his own expense, I might add. Many of you will be already receiving his traffic. I can tell you from my perspective, finding traffic on the internet, traffic is a really difficult thing to find a good source of traffic, and because traffic is the currency of the internet, you've got every lowlife that comes out from under every rock, every cockroach comes out trying to sell traffic because it is a currency, and I have to say there's a very, very large percentage of traffic out there that's most of it's rubbish. But over the years I've come to really trust Igor. Number one, the way that he conducts his business, the attention that he pays to detail, the attention he pays to his clients as well, but also with the integrity with which he runs his business. And we've had a wonderful working relationship for, I think, over 4 years, or 4 or 5 years. And as I said, our journey didn't start so well, but as often happens in life, what other people call stumbling blocks, the successful person calls stepping stones. And Igor seems to be able to turn a bad situation into a good situation most of the time, and it's a hallmark of a great leader. So I want you to just give him another round of applause as he comes up and shares and pours his heart out to you guys. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Double thanks to anyone who already purchased traffic, so your double is awesome. Thank you very much. How was lunch? Yeah, not bad, right? Not bad. The thing, Daniel, what's it called again? Croquette. Beautiful, beautiful. Elby, can you hook me up? Like, I'm not sure why it's not working. Meanwhile, I wanted to kind of go over just to give you guys a quick refresher on what Elby spoke about, because he made a bunch of great points, which I believe may go unnoticed because you still don't have that kind of experience to tell this is awesome stuff. It's kind of like, I've been married only, 5 years, right? But, lots of lessons learned, lots of, bumps. And now if I had a conversation with myself 5 years ago before getting married, I would probably told myself not to get married. But if I had to, that'd be awareness would be completely different. And I was just telling the story to Daniel before we started. Wait, this is my Autospawner account from the inside out. It's this is Hebrew, so it's an Israeli.
Excuse me, you can dim the lights when you need to. Just over the corner there. So,
Thank you. So the awareness. So imagine a lake, right? 2 fish swimming, a young fish, pretty badass teenagers fish, I guess. And so the other way comes an old fish with a white beard and everything, and he's like, "Hey boys, how's the water?" Silence. The 2 fishes kind of look at each other and just keep swimming. And then, the old fish keeps swimming as well. All of a sudden, one of the younger fish turns around and says, "Hey pops, what's water?" Right? So the fish doesn't understand what water is until you pull it out. So just like that, you guys are so green that a couple of things I feel need to be pinpointed for them to stick. So I actually got a cheat sheet as well. See, so I've been listening. First off, failures or opportunities. I mean, Elby, how many failures you've had on the way?
It's more than winners.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And $700,000 in debt, having to drive a truck to just get back on your feet with kids and everything. So, but that was an opportunity for him to meet Lawrence, right? And that relationship changed your life, pretty much. In many ways, I'm sure you guys can go back in your life and kind of pinpoint the challenges you've experienced that resulted in life-changing stuff. Maybe relationships, maybe a mistake you made which pointed you to direction, which formed something else. So whatever that is, challenges are always opportunities in disguise. I treat my challenges as stop signs. Whenever I hit a challenge, like, okay, stop sign, need to change direction, need to do something differently to never have this challenge again. And that's how you should treat it. Otherwise, you're screwed in this business, because your ass, you're gonna have it kicked so many times. You're gonna really, really want this to work. Now, becoming a leader, which you said, becoming a leader or building a tribe. This is important because your tribe will then become your platform, your equity in this business, right? So Elby said you are your business, and you are. And it's how you make other people feel is what's going to allow you to build that tribe. And that tribe will follow you everywhere. I mean, Albie, the process you've done with Lori here, right, with LXL Pro, this is the same process you've done with Carrot Bars, the same process we've done with this other rev sharing company that had trouble with SEC, which was a tragedy, to be honest. I mean, you guys were like, the momentum was incredible. You've succeeded with this and find a bunch of companies. Lori, I know, was in 2 other rev shares at least before this one. So, I mean, the process is proven. It works every single time, and it's other circumstances that can come in that can ruin it. Okay, so the process is what's important here. Really, I cannot underestimate this. Now, another thing you mentioned, which is really important, is finding a mentor. And I'm talking more than just having a webinar course you can refer to or being able to watch an online video. I'm talking about a person, a real breathing, living human being that actually walks the talk. Somebody who has experienced the growth you want to experience, because through that experience comes understanding, which is you can't really project it through a webinar. Impossible. I tried many times, trust me. And basically, that's about it. So we're ready to start. Now, first and foremost, I want everybody to stand up. I know you're after lunch and it's heavy. So before today, I want you to keep standing if you knew what list building was. If you didn't know before today what list building was, sit down.
Als je het niet voor vandaag wist, dan moet je weten.
Als je niet wist wat een lijstopbouw is voor vandaag, dan mag je gaan zitten.
Okay, very cool. So you guys are an advanced crowd because most people online have no freaking clue. So you are way ahead of the curve. So I congratulate you on that. Now keep standing if you are building your list for the Like to Sell business right now. Very cool. Keep standing if you're making money. Okay, you can all sit down now. So my purpose today is to send you out of this room with an exact idea of the direction you need to take your business to in order to get more signups. So raise your hand if you want that. Okay? Because that's what it's all about. I mean, at this point, you're in the business, you funded the business, you're in it to win it, you're not gonna quit, you've committed, now just get some fucking signups over it, right? So, here you see an email. It says, Like Excel members only, was sent out on the December 9th at 13:13 by local Israel time, which was about an hour forward, okay? Now, what is that email? That's an email I sent out when Albie was talking about sending out email broadcasts to your list. This is my hot list, if you will, my buyers list. So anyone who purchased traffic from me or sell, for instance, right? You guys got that email in your inbox right now. It went out to 1,994 people so far, and we're talking, what, an hour, perhaps, since? I had 211 people open it. 6 emails bounced, which means these are either non-existent or full inboxes that just couldn't accept the email, which happens all the time. These guys, two guys asked for unsubscribe. They just said, Igor, I don't want your emails anymore. Just leave me out of it, which is totally okay as well. And the open rate is now 10.5%, and 32 people out of 211 clicked the link. Okay, now what I've done now is doing absolutely nothing but writing a few words on a piece of digital paper. I made 211 people aware of something and made them go somewhere. Now, what does that mean to you? Again, I'm just trying to show you a practical example of what a list can do. Okay? So remember, I'll be showing you a list of 15,000 people.
Just level on again.
All right. If tell me if you guys can see it. Can everybody see it? Is that better? Okay, so I'm going to read it out loud anyway, just because I love the sound of my voice. So,
No signal.
Oh, that's
all good, all good.
that one is really sensitive.
Okay, sounds good. So, Albie was talking about broadcasting your list, and it's like, what do I write about? Honestly, write about anything. And so I wrote just about what I saw. in front of me. And here's how the email goes. I'm at the Likes Excel event in Amsterdam. LB Koster, my good friend, longtime VIP member, and an LXL leader, is dropping bombs on the proverbial stage in a room full of LXL members. I'm up in an hour. Following LB ain't gonna be easy, but I'm up for the challenge. Anyway, I digress. This email is about traffic, specifically traffic that grows your LXL Pro downline. If you're looking for instant Likes Excel signups and you're a member of the LXL Pro system, you should check out my enhanced new traffic source ASAP. It's brand new lead source which comes with a 50% opt-in rate guarantee for LXL Pro members. Details here. What have I done really? I just described what I've seen, and then I connected it to my product, which at this point is traffic and leads, right? I made it relevant to the audience, so I didn't go for my entire list. Notice that, right? LB said, don't be all things to all people. I went specifically for LXL Pro members, very specific, and told them why they should click the link, why should they do it now, what's in it for them, and so on and so forth. So these clicks are real people who said, okay, I want LXL signups, I want LXL traffic, I'm going to click the link and check it out. I'm sure Dennis is already in touch with the people who submitted their request. So without doing anything, pushing a button, after writing a few words, I've had instant leverage. I didn't work. I didn't get on the phone. Okay? I created business out of literally thin air with a bunch of people that I already have a pre-existing relationship with, several of which are in this room right now. And I've had a pleasure meeting them in person, right? So this is where I want you to be. In a month, 2 weeks, a year, 6 months, I don't care. Eventually, even if it takes you 5 years, I want you to be here. I want you to sit down, write an email, make money, close your laptop, and go have your 4-hour work week or whatever, lifestyle you want to have. Maybe you won't even leave your day job, because I've had students and clients who basically were tied in a contract, for instance, and they couldn't, but they kept on making money here and at work. I've had a teacher who lives in the UK. His name is Paul. He started making full-time income, but he was still 2 years away from finishing his contract, and he kept on doing this. I mean, why not? This is so much easier and so much better than doing hotel meetings, cold calls, and anything else, honestly. And it's all automated. It's all leveraged. Okay, it's the small hinge that can swing a huge door for you. Okay, small hinges do swing big doors, trust me. You always want to be looking for that 80-20 principle. Raise your hand who knows what the 80-20 principle is. Not everybody. Okay, so the 80-20 principle states that you get 80% of your results from 20% of your effort. So LB mentioned earlier that, and it basically applies to everything. LB mentioned that online most of the traffic is crap. Good traffic is hard to find, so 80% of the traffic is crap, 20% of it is good. Just like in this room, probably 20% of the people sitting behind these tables right now make 80% of the money in the room. 20% of the people in the world make 80% of the money in the world, and so on and so forth. 20% of the roads in your town hold 80% of the traffic. You can do 80-20 on anything, and it works. So the list is my advice to you, is my 80-20 advice to you when it comes to your business. If you want to make more money and invest less time and effort doing it, this is where you want to end up. This is your 80-20, okay? So, let's go ahead. Let me try and connect to my phone, which is going to serve as my pointer. I love technology, man. I love it. So, like I said, make 6 figures, travel the world, live the 4-hour work week. The only way I know how to do it is by building a list or building a tribe, as LB put it, and using that list, using the relationship you build with that tribe to leverage income streams, whether it's one income stream or many. Now I disconnected for some reason. It's going to be awkward.
Got a lot of technology, don't you?
Yeah. Okay, honey, let's do it the old-fashioned way. All right. So, does anybody know who those guys are?
Yeah.
You know, right? It's the 3 piggies.
Yeah.
So we'll come back to it in a bit. But I want to tell you that I had no clue that at some point in my life, I will be remembering this story that my mom used to tell me with such warmth and, aha moments. It's truly incredible how these little stories that our parents tell us in the early stages of our lives when we're this tall can truly bring success to us if we're able to spot what they mean. So, next. So in this, lesson, what I want to do is I want to share with you guys a couple of things. First off, what I learned from spending $3 million of my own money that I made over the years, and I put it back into the business, okay, into silhouettes. So, by the way, who knows what a silhouette is? Okay, all you know before we're done here. Why you can't build a lifestyle business doing meetings, cold calls, and doing things the old-fashioned way. Simply impossible. Impossible. The crazy stories that will show you how I lost tens of thousands of dollars on fake traffic, on just incredible amount of bullshit that's waiting for you out there, okay? For you newbies out there, but which you don't have to fall for if you just follow a couple of rules. The number one influence media that I know, okay, that can create this lifestyle business for you. How to make signups on demand, which of course I just showed you a quick glimpse into that, what this can be for you, and how to get risk-free silhouettes for your lifestyle business, which is going to be a shameless plug of my traffic source at the end. So let's just be honest about it. So, yep, we've been over that part. It's all good. So this is me back in 2008 or so. I used to wear these funny hats for no good reason. So I got recruited into this business opportunity called Global Domains International. Anyone heard of that before?
Yes.
You heard about that? It's still around.
GDI.
Yeah, GDI is still around. The concept was incredibly simple, incredibly enticing for a guy like me. All I wanted to do back then is to play video games. I loved to play America's Army. We had a clan online. We had the Clan Wars, and it's a shooter game, kind of like Counter-Strike and stuff like that. So basically, I was thinking, I need to make some money. I want to make money online. I don't want to go to a job. My parents wanted me to go the long and hard road, like go to school, study hard, etc. And I somehow ended up reading Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. Anyone read that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, if you haven't, check it out. Because the one thing that book showed me is that you didn't have to be born rich. You didn't have to be lucky. But you had to change your behavior in order to get different results. So after reading that book, I started asking different set of questions, like, do I really have to get a day job? Do I really have to work for somebody else? And of course the answer is no. I Googled ways to make money online, as everybody here. And I found this amazing concept of network marketing with this mountain thing, pyramid, whatever. It's like, oh my God, I can refer 3 people and they'll bring 3 people and we're all gonna be millionaires overnight. And through a bunch of different websites, I don't even remember how, I ended up connecting with this lady from Australia. Her name was Jodie Thompson. She's no longer doing network marketing or internet marketing whatsoever. And she got me into GDI, which is the only opportunity I could afford really, because it was only $10 a month and it paid $1 residual for any person you bring in. And the first person I brought in, of course, was my best friend Max. And I showed him the flashy video with the red Ferrari and the boat and the cruise, whatever. And I said, dude, you gotta get in. The most amazing thing ever, He joined, but he canceled the next day. I was pissed with Max for a while, but then later on I figured why he did that, and I didn't take it personally. So, long story short, I started marketing GDI, and I had a choice to make. And the choice is very simple. It's a choice you guys are not making on a daily basis. Left, you take free traffic. You do whatever you can to get free signups. Whether it's offline, online, doesn't matter, as long as it doesn't cost you anything but your time, do it. The right, it's paid traffic. And at the time, I had a bunch of misconceptions about paid traffic, which prevented me from using it, so I didn't do it. And I took the free traffic route. Let's go to the next slide. And anyone familiar with those? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I came in at the Web 2.0 era, the Squidoo lenses, the hub pages, the whatever. I blogged for 8 months like crazy. I created unique content, and I got my website to rank on Google for a bunch of keywords, and like, I really worked hard. I even neglected her for a long time. And she once walked out of me. I turned around after like 6 straight hours of like working, and she's not there. She went to her mother's place because she got really upset with me about not spending time with her. So I sacrificed all my time between work to build my business, to get traffic. That was the primary focus for me. Get traffic, get signups. Get traffic, get signups. And the amazing part is, after 8 months or a year of trying to get signups this way, I was getting traffic, but I wasn't getting any signups. So let's just forget about the fact that it's painfully slow. Painfully slow. I just didn't get it. I was getting 200 visitors per day to my blog, and my affiliate links were getting like 10% of that, but nobody was signing up. So during that same time, I was trying to do this. Anyone familiar with this?
Yeah.
Who's doing it right now? Come on, be honest with me. Come, everybody, be honest with me. Come on. I know you're doing it. I know you're doing it. So I tried to fake it till I make it. I harassed strangers on Facebook. I just randomly approached them. I read this incredible book called Natural Selling by Michael Oliver, which is, in my opinion, a great book for anyone who's getting started in network marketing. It really fixes your mindset a little bit about sales, about money. One of the greatest things you can do right now is to fix your thinking about money and success in general. Because the author is Michael Oliver, and the book is called Natural Selling.
Is that Jamie's brother?
Jamie Oliver,
Jamie Oliver?
like Gordon Ramsay, but the other.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, see, that's a British joke, which I don't get. So I started approaching strangers, and I learned that you can ask a bunch of questions, and people will open up to you. And I spend the next, 4 to 6 months doing that, literally, going on fan pages, and with lots and lots of likes in my industry, say like Michael Filsaime, Eben Pagan, some network marketing superstars, just randomly friending people. Anyone try to do that ever? Like friending people or following people and then reaching out to them and saying, hey, you're an amazing human being, I want to help you. This is so awesome. This universe is incredible. So obviously I looked like a jackass doing it, and nobody wanted to talk to me. But at some point I did get a sign up, I think, and if you go to the next slide, yeah, it took me 18 months. 18 months to get my first sign up, and that was a big sign up. That was a $1 trial that turned into a front-end sale of like $20-something, and then an upsell, which paid me 80-something. So all in all, I made over $100 with a single sale. And I remember that day, I was at work. I worked in a hotel in the Dead Sea, which is like, I live about 15 minutes away from the Dead Sea. It's a big resort, lowest place on earth. And the only job in my hometown you can get is really housekeeping or waiter, serving tourists and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. I just made $100, which is more than I was making in a full day's of work, maybe even more than 2 days of work. And I didn't work for it. Literally, like I didn't have to make beds or clean toilets or whatever. And I thought I won the lottery. I really thought I won the lottery. So, So what I do, I file my proverbial resignation note. Only I don't even do that. I just don't show up. That's what I've done. I just didn't show up. My boss, his name was Jonathan, which is Jewish for Jonathan. He was a big guy, ex-police, and he was so strict sometimes to a point where I just thought he was a total jackass, because he would like punish me unfairly. I mean, when I make a mistake, sure, I'll get punished, but he would yell at me for no fucking reason whatsoever, and I just wanted to stick to him, and I knew that if I don't show up for work, he'll have trouble because he'll need to replace me with somebody. So I was a nasty little kid, and I just didn't show up for work. And for the next 6 months, from that point, I didn't make any sales whatsoever. And eventually I had to come back to Jonathan, beg for my job because it just wasn't working out. And having kind of stepped back into that environment after getting this little taste, right? It's exactly what happened to you. You got this taste of what's possible it won't let me go. It would not let me go. I seen what's possible. I felt just a tiny little bit of it, and I thought, man, if only I could make that happen again, on purpose, all the time, my life would be so different. And so I said, enough is enough. Something needs to change. And I needed to do something that was really different from what I was doing before, something that perhaps I was avoiding subconsciously, for all this time, and that is get some paid traffic going on. And so I won't get into the whole story because we just don't have the time for that, but paid traffic is where I succeeded, but not just paid traffic, it's paid traffic plus list building, because that's what's allowed for me to build this nest egg, this equity. I call it equity because that's really where the money is. I can change the product today. I can say I'm out of the traffic business and join, a company or create an information product, and I'll make money because the tribe is there, because the list is there, because the audience exists, and I know what they want, and I know what they need, and I know how to communicate with them to a point where when I say things, they listen. Okay? So I started doing paid traffic. And for a while, it took me a while to figure it out. Of course, I had to get a second job to fund my business because I couldn't do it in my usual job, and she was working as a waitress and in this lingerie store. Remember the first time I put down $200 on traffic, she was nuts. She was like, "Where did that $200 go?" I'm like, "I put it in this PPV network." PP what? Why? It's like, because it's traffic and I can grow my business. And we had a big fight, but that was the only time when I probably stood hard and just stood my ground and won the fight, perhaps the only one ever. And now she doesn't complain, of course. So it's just like. So I want to skip right to a point where I'll just give you the misconceptions I've had about paid traffic, which stopped me from really utilizing the true potential, right, of this thing, and which made me almost blind to all the mistakes I was making. So the first misconception I've had is I'll start with free traffic first to see if this works, and if I make money, I'll buy some traffic. So who's guilty of that? Okay, keep your hands up in the air. I can't do paid traffic until I made money with my business. Who's guilty of that? Okay. I should start with cheap traffic sources before risking my money on expensive ones. Anyone ever thought that? Okay, very cool. Good buyers are hiding somewhere. There's like an island or something that they sit there and they don't come to me. For some reason, I'm not getting the good ones. Okay, cool. And if I didn't break even or make a profit in the campaign, the traffic must be crap. So that was my mindset. That was my mindset at the time. And as it turned out, everything is not true. Like, seriously. Most of the time, if you're smart enough, you can spot, the legit traffic from the fake one. And then it's a matter of communicating with the traffic. It's because it's people. I mean, it's really easy to forget that, by the way. We see numbers on the screen. We see numbers on the scoreboard, but these are real people making real buying decisions, making real conclusions, right? And we all, each and every single one of us has these experiences. Albie said, our experiences, the total sum of our experiences make us to who we are, and we have to take that into consideration when we market one to many. So one person to many persons. We have to take that into consideration. So that is where solo ad came in for me. I stepped in at the dawn of solo ads. In fact, I am considered to be one of the forefathers of this traffic source. I was coached by one of the 4 guys who did them at the time when solo ads were sold in these secret Skype rooms. You couldn't even get it on a website. You had to go to a Skype room. Someone had to get you in, otherwise you couldn't get a traffic source. And what this is, it's a fixed cost traffic generation method that allows you to rent out and market those mailing lists with minimum financial risk. So to give you an example, let's just say Albie all of a sudden decides to get into the traffic game. He's got a list of 15,000 people, and he knows he can produce with a good email, 5,000 clicks or 300 clicks or whatever that number is. So I say a member of a company, whatever company, make money online company, and I need traffic. I'm a newbie, I'm just getting started. I need signups, and I have a full-time job. I don't have time to blog. I don't have time to do what Lori's doing, like connect with people on Facebook. So I need it in a different way. And I approach Albie, and I know he's selling silhouettes. And they say, Albie, can I buy 300 clicks from you? And Albie says,
I'd love to, Igor.
sure, how much?
For you,
Yeah.
$3 a click.
See?
Might get my money
So
back from you.
LB must have had, like, he has an amazing buyers list full of people that purchased something for $5,000 literally 2 minutes ago. So that's why it cost $3 per click. But, you know, he basically rents out the list to me for $3 a click, which means he's now committed to delivering 300 clicks to me no matter what, even if it takes more than one mailing to do. Whether with a swipe that I allow him to write, or a swipe that I ask him to write for me, or maybe I just give him a swipe and he sends it out. So that's what a silhouette is. You're hitting a bunch of targeted prospects, okay, targeted prospects who are already taking interest in business opportunities. It's really important, it's really big, because these are not just random people. Like, if I walk out on the street right now and stop somebody and say, hey, you know, Bob, would you like to join XXL? And he says, what is it? It's like a business opportunity. You know, Bob will probably bolt. He would not join. But somebody who's already aware of what business opportunities are, somebody who's already looking to join one, somebody who has some sort of a need, perhaps to get outside of their, out of their day job. Maybe they want to cover some debt, or maybe they just want to make some extra money. Whatever that is, they are looking for a way to make money outside of their job that doesn't take a lot of time. They want this. They're looking for it. So you advertise to those people rather than people who have no clue. And if you mention online marketing to them, they say, oh, is that eBay? Is that AliExpress? Whatever that is. So you go for targeted people. And there is absolutely zero technical learning curve involved with this traffic source. You don't have to optimize anything, you don't have to do much, but to tell whether or not you're talking to a legit source, which you can usually tell just by consulting with your outline, with your trainer, with your mentor, just by Googling, the source. So if you want to, get silhouettes from Bob Jones, Google Bob Jones silhouettes, and if you find something, good or bad, you can make your decision. If you find nothing, don't buy from them, because that means they're fly-by-night, one of those cockroaches that climbed out of, from under a rock to make some quick money. I usually go for people that have both positive and negative feedback, with the positive predominant, because nobody can get 100% positive feedback. It's just impossible. So that would be, your safest bet. And it produces instant results. Now, this is not a magic bullet, but it does produce instant results. You get signups instantly. People who are interested already in what you're doing, they will sign up right away. Now, of course, from that point, you'll have to work them, and we'll get to it in a bit. But these are the benefits of paid traffic, of this particular traffic source, that I was not even aware of for 18 months. And I wish I was, because I would just work harder to get more money and to start building my business the right way, rather than having to go through 18 months worth of crap. However, without going through that crap, I'm not able to appreciate it. So it is what it is. Now, silhouettes can also be dangerous. Again, LB mentioned that traffic is one of the most popular commodities for online marketers. Everybody needs it, seriously. I mean, everybody needs it. So naturally, there's a bunch of a-holes who try to take advantage of this demand, and fortunately, a lot of them are scammers. So the first trap you can fall for is saturated lists. It's lists that have been so beaten to death with silhouettes and not replenished with new subscribers that they're just incapable. It's like impotent lists. If these lists had to have sex, they would not be able to get it up. Impossible. Okay? So that's trap number one. We all fell for that at some point. Trap number two, brokered clicks. So, that's pretty much self-explanatory. It's people who don't have a list, don't have a business, they're just one person or a front, and they resell. Now, there are brokers who are legit, brokers who have access to traffic sources that are not available to you. you can't just go on Facebook and find them, right? These brokers have what's called like secret publishers that don't want their name disclosed. And for example, Harris, traffic for me that's in the members area, he's one of those legit brokers. He's pretty cool. I met Harris a couple months ago. He's a pretty cool dude. Now, most brokers, however, will broker your clicks to somebody you can already find. So all they've done is they put up like a, what's it called, a front or like a, just say traffic shop, you know, a website. You give them money and they sell you traffic at a markup. And they go Google someone else and just buy it for cheap. And it's kind of like, you know, buying the same thing only paying more money for it. So you don't want to do that either. That's why you always want to ask the traffic provider to get on their list before purchasing from them. And number 3, my favorite, my all-time favorite, because that's where I lost most of my money, is bot traffic. And so this is fairly recent. I mean, when we started, there was no such advanced technology to scam people. But this one guy used to buy about $10,000 worth of traffic every 3 months from him. And I noticed that I'm getting great opt-in rate, no activity whatsoever on my sales pages, and these are sales pages I own, so like I monitor them really closely. My emails are just not inboxing for some reason. Like on a different list, they would get 40% open rate in the first email. This one would get 5% open rate, tons of bounces. Again, anyone remembers what a bounce is? What is a bounce? Just yell it out.
Email doesn't exist or...
Very good. Email doesn't exist, inbox is full, spam trap, so it bounces, goes back. And so I approach him and I say, dude, what's up? You know, this traffic doesn't seem legit. And obviously he says, no, it's all good, what's your opt-in rate, awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then I do something which I should have done way earlier. So there's a software. If you have your own websites for marketing, maybe, you know, your own sales funnels or whatever, you can use it. It's called Hotjar, HOTJAR.com. And this software is pretty sneaky. It records every single visitor to your website, like video. You can actually see where they scroll, where they click, where they look. It's, I mean, it's disturbing to an extent, but it's pretty cool if you're a marketer. So you can tell where your website needs more work, right? How to position elements to get more attention, to get more clicks. Really useful for bloggers, for example. I use it on my sales pages to find out which elements work, which headlines work, etc. And so this is the most incredible thing in the world. I start checking his traffic. Every other IP address, and again, IP address is a visitor. So like a computer, your computer has an IP address. So every IP address I check, you see, now this is, what's the resolution here? Anyone knows? Let's just say it's 800 by 600 pixels. So this is, this is 600 by 800 pixels, right? Imagine a screen 5 pixels by 100. Okay, so it's like RoboCop. You know, remember he had this, opening for his eyes? So that was the opening. You see the page kind of loads up and then it scrolls all the way down and then exits. So this technology that he developed was designed to get on your squeeze page, to enter a fake email into the form, hit enter, get on your sales page, scroll down so it kind of sort of like fake an activity of some sort, and leave. And it's a script. Incredible. So I showed him the recordings. I told him that I'll expose him if he doesn't refund me. He refunded all my money, and that was the last time I heard from him. He's no longer selling traffic as far as I know, because this kind of news does spread fast. I didn't tell anybody what his name is, but when I made people aware of the possibility, all of a sudden people started asking me a bunch of questions, and he was no longer able to scam. But that's one of the ways you can easily get scammed as well. So, like I said, it is a dangerous beast if you don't know what you're doing, but thankfully, now you know about the pitfalls, so it's really hard to get you. For the most part, it's the really green newbies that had no clue that fall for this stuff. Oh, thank you.
Igor, are you sharing the sheets?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to share the sheets after the
Oh, I'll be happy to make it available for everybody for sure. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So the safe way to buy SolarWinds. Again, for most of you guys, this is not really relevant, simply because you have 2 trusted sources in the members area, so you sort of avoided all that, mumbo jumbo. But you should know this. I believe you should know this. Like I said, you will be building other businesses, and my hope is that you're gonna be here for the long term, so you might as well know this. So first off, you want to buy in small chunks, 500 to 1,000 clicks at a time. Even if your traffic source is proven, still want to do that. Not sure why I've seen people kind of, go beyond that, and for some reason it just doesn't always work. But I got a client, his name is Lance Sumner. He's been with Empower Network, and then moved to a different company, and he's been buying traffic with me for as long as you, and he's just been always like reinvesting. Every month he gets anywhere between 2 to 3 500 click buys consistently, month in and month out. Okay, that's the strategy. 500 to 1,000 clicks at a time. First time buy, 300 to 500 clicks is okay. Less than that usually leaves you in the dark. That's how it works. Never send directly to a sales video. Always send it to a squeeze page, then follow up. Now, a couple of reasons for that. First off, the list, which is the most obvious reason. Okay, you want to build a list first. That's your number 1 priority, not the instant sale. Okay, because instant sales, by the way, they don't always stick. Okay, in other words, how many marriages last if they got for a one-night stand in Vegas or something? Most of them break up. The marriages that stick, people spend time together. They grow on each other. So that's what you want to do. You want to build this, if you will, a relationship. Albie mentioned you can't just walk up to somebody and say, would you marry me? There has to be a date, a kiss, a dinner, move in together, have a cat. That's how it was for us. Have a baby, kick the cat out. There has to be a bunch of steps before that happens. So instant signups, I'm not a big fan because a lot of them don't stick. And you want to build a list first. That's where you build your tribe, collect the leads, then follow up. Second reason, and this is interesting. Remember I told you that challenges are opportunities. So one of the biggest challenges I've ever encountered in my business it's the kind of challenge that sent me to basically do some crying on my own, in a fetal position like this on the floor, is when I lost my 100,000 lead Igor account. It was not a pretty sight because I already had commitments with my customers. Now I don't have the traffic, now I had to rebuild it, and it was devastating. Okay, that was a challenge, which means my squeeze page stopped working. Right, so my everywhere doesn't work. When someone opts in, all of a sudden, there's no redirect. They're just dead. So, and we're getting traffic. Now we're buying, just so you understand, we're getting anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 leads per day per source from our sources. That's a lot. That's a lot of leads. Last I checked, the biggest guy in the supplement business, Mike Geary, gets about the same amount. So it's safe to say that we're pretty massive. And so imagine now all my squeeze page is not working. We have to get a new autoresponder account, reconnect everything, and we can't really stop. It's not something you can stop. So, with traffic, when you get this much, you can't just cut it off. It just doesn't work like that. Daniel mentioned that when it's a big business, right, it doesn't happen from today till tomorrow. It's spread out process. So Dennis has this amazing idea. He says, dude, let's just get rid of the squeeze page. Let's just send traffic directly to our thank you page. And I'm like, you know what, this may actually work. So before we removed the squeeze page, our conversion was about, 60% or something like that from thank you page to the next page. When we got rid of the squeeze page, it went down to 15%. Now you think, you remove a barrier, it has to go up. No. And here we come to one of the greatest principles that I've ever learned in my business, and that is the principle of commitment. So when you make people psychologically commit, they're much more likely to take the next step and the next step and the next step. I'll explain a little bit why that works like that. But by removing this commitment of the squeeze page, we have killed our response on the back end. So don't do it. Always send to a squeeze page first, because not only you're building a list, but you're also qualifying, psychologically, qualifying people to act with you. Okay? Now, if you have any questions, by the way, please write them down. I'll have some time at the end, hopefully, to answer the questions. But I'm sure there are, so write them down so don't forget them. Cloak your links. Now, in this case, again, not relevant to you because you got the built-in cloaker in the system. Okay, but if you are sending traffic outside of it, definitely want to get a link cloaker to know your clicks, opt-in rates, sales, etc. The more you can track, the better. The more precise you're tracking, the better. And the more conversion points you're tracking, the more precise you are. Now, anyone knows what conversion point is? Okay. So, anyone knows what a funnel is? Come on, raise your hand. I need to see you're alive, okay? Great. So, in a funnel, you got the squeeze page, the sales page, the follow-up sequence, emails, stuff like that. Each and every single step that the prospect needs to take is a conversion point, which is to say another opportunity for the prospect to
Buy.
leave. Leave. Yeah. People are unfortunately extremely lazy and impatient, so every single conversion point is an opportunity for them to leave, and that's okay. It's not something you should be upset about, it's something you should just understand and embrace. Why? Because when you can understand the fact that they have 5 conversion points you have to take them through, and you optimize each and every single point separately, what you're creating is a compound effect which can double your business. Okay? So if you increase conversion point number 1 conversion by 10%, then increase the next conversion point conversion by 10%, here, 10% by 10% by 10% by 10% by 10%, doubles your business. I'm Jewish, you can take my word for it. So, always, no exception, ask for customer case studies and testimonials. A lot of vendors, what they do, since they don't have any because their traffic is just crap, they'll give you testimonials from other solo-ed sellers. Watch out for that. It's a trap, okay? And always get a clear mailing date confirmation, so they have to tell you when they're going to send it out, and a guarantee what happens if that doesn't happen. So I had this another little thing happen to me back in the Skype room days, the secret Skype room days. I was introduced to this one gentleman who was supposedly a mentor to this other solo provider who had a bunch of lists, and I purchased 500 clicks from him, and he says, I'll mail day after tomorrow. Okay. Day after tomorrow arrives, no traffic. Okay, maybe it's just delayed. Maybe he'll start in the evening. In the evening, nothing. I message him, nothing. 2 days go by, I'm just impatiently, frantically messaging the guy, spamming him almost. To annoy him, I even press the dial button on Skype so the annoying sound starts ringing, so he pays attention. And nothing still. On the 3rd day, he shows up and he says, oh, I'm sorry, man, I forgot to load the broadcast and I was stuck in this, airport. All kinds of bullshit, right? I mean, come on. And so he says, I'll mail it tonight. I says, okay. He doesn't mail. Eventually, long story short, I filed a dispute with PayPal. I fought him for really long, and I got my money back. But what it taught me is that always get a guarantee and a written statement from the seller that he's committed to mailing them. You can also get a guarantee for how long it takes him to deliver, and if he fails to deliver that, ask him, what's going to happen? What are you going to lose? Are you going to give me more clicks? Are you going to refund me? What's going to happen if you don't deliver? Always try to get these guarantees. Yeah, it kind of makes you a difficult customer, okay, but you should be difficult rather than nice, because this is a surefire way to protect yourself. Okay, it doesn't matter who you're working with, by the way. So, and the question you're wondering, of course, is the same question that I got during lunch, right? How soon can I expect sales? And this is the $1 million question, right? And I'll tell you, if I found a way to guarantee to motivate people to buy from me, every single time, man, I'd be a very wealthy man, and I'd make a lot of other people wealthy as well.
Oh.
But unfortunately, people are still people. They have free will. Even God himself can't really do anything about it, right? So when it comes to people, what we ask them to do to join our company is sort of this. We expect them to do this. Do you ever do this?
No.
I know. She had to guilt trip me into marrying her. I mean, you talk about joining a business opportunity, right? So we literally ask them to jump off a cliff, take hard-earned dollars or euros or shekels. You know, that's what's the currency called in Israel. My friend calls it the magic beans. So take a bunch of magic beans and give it to a stranger you never spoke before on the internet, which of course the trust guard is like, bam, the alarms go off. And just trust the process. Just trust it's going to happen. It's really difficult. It's really difficult. It's something we can expect from somebody who's either crazy or like Albie just taking like insane risks because he believes in taking risks. Or maybe somebody who's been in a bunch of other businesses and he can truly appreciate a good business when he sees it simply because of his previous experience. Right? So if I approached, say, Lori or Paul and said, hey, I got this amazing business, chances are they will be able to do this because they got other income streams, because they got previous experience, because they got tribes. They'll do it, sure. But average person, no. And when we market, we always have to consider the lowest common denominator. Okay? The lowest common denominator, the most skeptical, timid, and fearful person you can think of. You know, for me, that's like my mother. Like, will my mother just jump in? Or will she have a bunch of questions? Will she need a bunch of time to make a decision? And the answer to that is obvious. My mom will not jump in. She'll be timid and scared. So instead, this is what we need to create. Now, this is a risky walk downstairs from a mountain, but there's steps. Gradual steps. You put one foot in front of the other. You create an incremental process through which they can go down the mountain without risking too much at once. And the brain needs it because we are much better off processing things in tiny little bits. And I really want you to write this down. We will not take risks. The brain is simply not capable of that. It will get in the way. And you know, you were telling about, you know, the tail wagging the dog. Your brain is the tail, you're the dog, and it's wagging you. And for your prospects, that's like 100 times as true when we talk about internet marketing, because they don't know you. They, you know, never heard about you. They can't trust you. So, this is what needs to happen. And this is where, for me, email is so powerful. I can create this incremental process both through my funnels and through emails. And this is exactly what you're getting with the LXL Pro system. Squeeze page, VSL, video sales letters, you know, explanation of the reward packs, which is another incremental step, right? Emails, your own videos like Marcel is doing. There's a bunch of things you can do, and all they are these incremental steps.
Also to give a voucher.
Yes, the reward pack, I think it's right.
It's also a step.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It diffuses the risk, right? The more you can take away the risk, by the way, from the entire process, or the more you can explain to the person in front of you that there is little or no risk involved, the better. Of course, to the point where they say, "Oh man, this is too good to be true," right? It's one of those scams. So, your goal then, to get more signups, is to build a list crammed with targeted prospects who recognize you as a trusted authority. So how do we do that? Now this is General James MacArthur, and he said that security lies in our ability to produce. Right, which is the opposite of what most people think. They think income security lies in having a bunch of money stashed in the bank. That's not true. It lies in your ability to make signups on demand. It lies in your ability to convince people that you're legit, that you can be trusted, and that your business is freaking awesome. So I want to show you, in addition to the example I showed you earlier, a more concrete example right? With real numbers, real dollars, what a list can do. So same list I showed you, 2,000 people. It's in April, right? I think it was in April or May 2016. So total for 4 links that I sent traffic to, which was an opt-in page built into a video that invites them to a webinar, I sent, can anyone do the math here, please? About 900 something people? Close?
900.
900 people. I generated, from those people, 540, 550 opt-ins, and from those, I got 37 orders. Now, from a standpoint of list building, that's actually pretty good numbers because I'm pretty badass at what I do, okay? And I don't expect you to hit those numbers anywhere close in the next couple of months because it's going to take time for you to learn. It's not an overnight thing. And we'll be honest about it, obviously. So here's what this translated into. 37 orders translated in $5,100 after refunds from a campaign that lasted 4 days. 4 emails over 4 days, and I had to get on the webinar to introduce the guy. Okay, and I had to sit through the webinar, of course, like 2.5 hours. But he was a pretty badass, at what he does, so it was an interesting experience for me. And $5,000 on the side, in addition to my traffic business. This is a case study of when I promoted Daniel Levis's Email Alchemy. He's a pretty badass email marketer. His strategies, look into them. Pretty cool. I'm not a huge fan as far as like this being the best for a newbie, but he does offer a bunch of done-for-you stuff as well, like just fill in the blank with your business kind of stuff. So Daniel Levis. He's also got a book on Amazon called The Email Alchemist, which I highly recommend you read. And if we're talking about anyone wants more book recommendations, does anyone read books? Does anyone know how to read them? I consider books to be the fastest and the cheapest shortcut to success there is. Because you got all these amazing people who solved all these problems that you're experiencing right now and put them in a book, and had the balls and the audacity to publish the book, which in and of itself is a feat, right? So you got Daniel Levis's Email Alchemist. You got John Benson's Open Click Buy. Okay, John Benson, Open Click Buy. And if you get on Amazon and you type in the name Ben Settle, Settle as in S-E-T-T-L-E, anything by this guy, who's my personal favorite, is awesome. He's also got a few novels if you're a fan, about vampires and stuff. So he writes really well. So I learned the approach I use in my emails. I learned it from Ben Settle, and I highly recommend him in general everywhere I go. If you ever listen to my podcast, I probably mention him in every other episode. You can go to bensettle.com/free, and you can get a free cheat sheet for your emails. Amazing stuff. And I highly recommend getting on this newsletter, but that's later. Okay, that's $97 a month. So will you tell me when I'm out of time and stuff?
Well,
So again, list equals leverage equals lifestyle. Because no other thing online can ever do this for you. And here's the beautiful part. Once I was told by my mentor to watch what the gurus do and not what the gurus say, which isn't always the same thing. And so what every single guru did since the dawn of time is they built lists. They launch products, they put people on the list. They mail that list with new products, they cross-promote other products. There's always the list involved. And when they need more money, the first thing they do is mail out their list. Same thing with Albie. Joins one company, it tanks. What does Albie do? Mails the list for a different company, for a better one, for a more stable one. Build a team there. It's not coincidental that he's now putting together these events because he's got the skill, he's got the leverage. So going back to the story, anyone wants to tell me now, Does this make sense? This is cold calling guy. This is some other guy. I don't know what he's doing. But this is who you want to be. You want to be the little piglet with the brick home.
Solid, sustainable.
Yes. If the company tanks, if something happens, if the traffic source is out, if AWeber's shut down, I don't know, whatever, there's really nothing that can happen that can, just kill you if you have a list. Even if AWeber shuts you down, they have to give you your list back. They have to export a list and give it to you so you can import it into a different account. There's a bunch of other services besides AWeber. AWeber being very simple and very friendly and very, delivering. So that's actually a pretty good choice, but there are other services too. So you got a list, you got a brick home. You ain't got a list, you ain't got shit. And I'm serious, and I'm using profanity to make the point so it stands out. And if you're not building it, if you're not putting all your efforts into your business with the end goal of building the list, you are not getting the most out of it. You're truly wasting your time. I can't emphasize this enough. So, this is where you want to be aiming at. 30 cents per name per month on your list, which means a list of 10,000 people should bring somewhere around $3,000. You mentioned Mike Dillard earlier. He's getting $2 per subscriber per year. So 400,000 subscribers, $800,000. Right? That's a lot. The guy's a guru. He's got high-ticket products. He's got a bunch of stuff. Here, you want to be aiming first to 30 cents, then to $1. Okay? That's where you want to be. That's the metric that truly matters. Am I making 30 cents per subscriber per month on my list? And if I'm not making that, what do I need to do to start making that? A good place to start is those books that I shared with you. Now, this is Perry Marshall. Does anybody know who Perry Marshall is? Besides, being an author to guide to Google AdWords, of course. Perry Marshall is considered to be one of the most badass marketers on the planet. He's definitely the guru to the gurus, if you will. And he says there's all kinds of media and channels, but email is still the center of the marketing universe. It's permission to be inside your customer's personal space. Okay? All that is important in your life is probably somewhere in the email. Your accounting, your travel, packages, and your bookings. Lori, where's your booking.com hotel thing stored? You booked a hotel, booking.com? Where's the confirmation?
Where's the confirmation?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Where is it?
Is it in your inbox?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, in my email.
Right? Anastasia loves ordering stuff from Vitacost, which is like vitamins and protein bars and stuff like that. They still do promotions via email. Like there can be Facebook and Twitter and text messages and Periscope and whatever else. Everything that's going to be important and private will be in the inbox. So it makes a lot of sense to become a part of that. To become a part of that private environment, okay, that you share with all the other important stuff in their life. That's why email is still the predominant medium. Although Facebook is big and Instagram is big, email is still the way to go. So this is so important that I just put it here so you guys can write this down. Okay, maybe take a picture. We've been conditioned to be skeptical, doubtful and timid of others by our parents since we were kids. Along the way, we also learned to doubt ourselves. This is multiplied by 1,000 times on the internet. So everybody knows the Little Red Riding Hood story?
No.
Right? Since when? Since you're like 4, 3, 2? I mean, my daughter's 4, she already knows it. And what's the point of that story? Don't talk to strangers. The little girl takes a basket full of goodies. In the forest, she meets the wolf. She happens to share her agenda with him. And he's so helpful that he sneaks up on her grandmother, eats her, then waits for the girl, eats the girl, and then he's being killed by other guys, but it could have had a different ending. So the point is, don't talk to the big bad wolf. So guess what? You're the big bad wolf when it all starts. You are. And you should embrace that, because that's the point from which you can then change it. Same process that, Albie mentioned again. 5 minutes? Okay. Albie mentioned that, when you try to court a lady, you have to be persistent, etc. Same process. A woman protects herself the same way the prospect protects his wallet. Okay? So the sooner you realize that and recognize this truth, the sooner you will be able to conquer their hearts. So trust in ourselves and others and belief in authority are prerequisite to making LXL signups who fund their accounts. The reason Albie can get funded accounts because people just believe in Albie. If they believe in him, that's enough to make them believe in themselves too. So since we got very little time left, I'm going to try to kind of speed my way through it. But if you need expansion on any of this stuff, feel free to find me in the back. So, what is this? This is the 4 stages that I recognized in the evolution of your prospect's mentality. Skeptical son of a bitch, skeptical and curious, trial buyer, and raving fan. So they all start here. Super skeptical, and a lot of them will even be like angry with you. Then they kind of read your headline or watch a little bit of your video sales letter. So they're skeptical and curious. Then they will try it out, trial buyer. So in this case, they sign up for a free LXL account. And only when they become a raving fan for you, they will fund. So your job at all times is to make this journey easy for them through marketing, follow-up, engagement, vouchers, in any other way you can, but primarily through becoming the star of your show, becoming the Oprah of your own Oprah show, becoming that persona, that marketing persona that they want to be a part of. The key to getting your subscribers to trust you and to see you as respected authority is consistency and congruency, not income screenshots, hard selling, or hard teaching. Which means, if you thought that you can't do this because you don't have proof yet, which is a major concern, at least with the people that I talk to, I'm not a guru yet, how can I become one, right? Well, you become a guru first, then you get the income screenshots. It's consistency in your emails, in your marketing, in your follow-up, and congruency with everything you're saying. In other words, what Albie mentioned was be within integrity with your marketplace. So that's congruency. You tell a story, don't change it in the next email. You say you're about one thing, don't go in the other email, change what you're saying. So that stuff is critical. Now, since you're all good sports and listen to my boring presentation, I want to give you a gift. And this is basically a 2.5-hour webinar where I teach how I email, how to structure your follow-up sequence, how to get in the mind of your prospect, the kind of things to say, the kind of things not to say, okay? It's available 24/7, it's hosted online, you don't have to opt in, do anything, okay? Go to lxlclicks.com/gift, whether on your cell phone, on your computer, doesn't matter, and you'll get it. You find out a bunch of crazy stuff. I trust you. If you're not blown away, come talk to me. I'll send you $5 on PayPal. Seriously, this is badass. So you will find out the 3 components to closing more sales with your emails. Miss just one and you're not going to close the sale. 6 good reasons why prospects delay buying decisions and the surefire way to eliminate them once and for all. And this is going to be expanding what we touched on today. 4 ways to get people to trust you without income proof. I'm sure you'll need that because you don't have any, right? And it's kind of difficult to even convince yourself to write an email if you don't have income proof. I'll give you 11 subject lines you can use in your emails right now for some good open rates. And basically the idea is to teach you how to get anyone to buy anything with a kick-ass follow-up sequence. And of course, as promised, a shameless plug. Okay? If you want risk-free, like to sell leads, go to lxlclicks.com. And do we have time for questions?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a couple of minutes of Q&A. So just raise your hand and I'll pinpoint.
Probably turn the lights up now in the corner.
The sequence with the LSOB and the skeptical,
Yes.
it was a little bit fast for me.
Okay, sure. So I believe there's 4 stages of evolution, of mental evolution that people go through when they first discover you, right, as a potential way to change their life, to make more money. Skeptical is the first stage. Everything you're saying in that instance is not true. Okay? Oh, I can make money from home without risking anything. Shut up. I've heard it all before. Is this one of those pyramid schemes? Leave me alone. So that's skeptical. Then, if they opt into your squeeze page or just start watching your VSL, they're skeptical, but at the same time, they're curious. Right? So now it's like, but you know what? I'll give him a shot. I'll give him 30 seconds to see what he's got to say. You know, you kind of got your foot through the door. You know, you're in and you're just, trying to say something. Then, at that stage, they might choose to become a trial buyer. A trial buyer is a buyer that has their foot in the door, but just one. So they're with one foot out the door and, half a body turn away. Like, if you don't say something right, I'm gone. So that's the trial buyer, so that's the free LXL sign up that refuses to fund their account. And once they turn into a raving fan, okay, in other words, once they start trusting you, liking you, seeing the genuine person in you, seeing your agenda that's also genuine. By the way, all of you should have an agenda, a vision that you share with your prospects that goes beyond making money. They know you're here to make money, and they too want to make money, but they need to feel that there is something more to you than just the money. So always find out the reason why beyond the money. That has more to do with them than it is to do with you. Okay? And that's the 4 stages. Okay? You have to recognize these stages to be true in order to truly appreciate what an internet can do for you. Because when you're talking to somebody face to face, some people have that, when they can instantly make you fall in love with them. But very few people have that. And if we're talking duplication, if we're talking about doing something that LB done with Carrot Bars and other companies, with Lori done with other rev shares, you can't do that. Like, most people can't do instant rapport. Okay, they can't, it's just impossible. Besides, we're so different, all of us, that you can't build instant rapport with everybody, right? But you can share things with other people, and you're so different that they are, yet you will connect. Okay, one of the ways they test you is consistency. Is congruency, that's how the marketplace is. I have this belief that, earlier I mentioned that the good buyers, I thought the good buyers are hiding somewhere. There's an island or, whatever, the cave, where they just don't want you to find them. But I believe good buyers are like X-Men. Anyone is a Marvel fan? Yeah? So X-Men, they're mutants. And they look like human beings, but they have extra, like superpowers. Some of them have wings, others can shoot like darts. Wolverine doesn't die, my favorite. So, but they hide amongst the people. You can't see them in a day-to-day situation. So a good buyer won't just jump up and down and say, hey, I got 20 grand, I want to put into an AVI pack, They ain't gonna say that. They're gonna wait, they're gonna hide, they're gonna take it easy. And then once you say all the right things and do it for long enough, then they pop up, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I'm so lucky. But the reality is, you made it happen. More questions?
There are a lot of possibilities to build your list. Why is, and it's all about investing, you need money to invest.
Yep.
Why do you think it's solo ads the best way to build your list?
Okay, well, first off, I'm biased, right? Because I sell them, so obviously I need to say they're the best. They're pretty fast. What I like is that they're pretty fast. There's no technical learning curve. You ever tried doing a Facebook ad?
Yeah.
Was it fast and easy and went smooth?
Not so good.
Yes, it's too difficult. I mean, it can be great, but it too can be difficult. You need more technical knowledge. You need some storytelling skills for that. You can't just put it in random post. Also, you can't promote business opportunities on Facebook. You'll get banned very quickly. I see the sad nod. Lori's.
Yeah.
Yes. I got a friend who promotes business opportunities on Facebook, but he's got 20 Facebook accounts running, changing them all the time, burning through them because he knows they're going to get banned. So you got Google AdWords, same thing. You can't approve a make money online offer on Google AdWords. You got pay-per-view traffic. That you have to be a freaking IT genius to do. Even I can't do it. I just gave up at some point. What else we got?
What was that? What was that?
CPA, yeah. CPA networks, you can actually go and you can buy like conversions. For that, you got to know the right people. For that, you got to be able to negotiate good prices. You got to set it up. Like you'll need, a David. And like Albie is showing, you need a lot of money. Like Solid, you can start with a fairly low budget. Like I don't know, with us, the lowest you can go is $357. What's the lowest package Harris can do?
I think it's 150.
150, right? So it's attainable for the little guy, And if you're working with a reputable solo seller, they do have your best interest in mind.
Why is your list so good then?
Because I pre-sell better. I got more experience. I got my sources, well tested. Burned through a lot of sources, but kept the good ones. In this case, I'm just better than most. I just take my job so seriously that I excelled at it to a point where I am today. That the reason I'm here is because Albie, believes that there's no one better out there for you guys to learn from than me. That alone could tell you why my traffic is better. Because I pay as much attention to conversion as I do to the traffic. Right? Did you notice that most of this, lesson is about conversions, not even about the traffic?
Okay, but when I buy clicks or what is it, traffic, then I have to buy monthly. But
No.
because that's the consistent way.
You can start with a one-off, get your feet wet, analyze some results, get a feel for it,
Yeah.
right? Then you can choose to commit or not to commit, but in between you can still optimize and make conclusions,
Mm-hmm.
with your conversion points.
But I want consistent traffic.
Yes.
Then
So-
I have to buy every.
Yeah, regardless of the
time.
traffic source, you need like consistent
Yeah.
flow of leads coming in.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dat is
absolutely.
geen verplichting.
Nee, dat snap ik.
No, this is not really a question, it's more of like reaffirming whether or not this needs to be done. Yeah, so.
We got one more question over here, then we'll have to,
Yes.
I don't know for who is the question, but you have three here. We have the sales funnel. We buy bulk leads. In 4 days, we had 13 new members subscribed in like Excel, so in our
Trial bar.
online. But what's going to happen now? What we have to do now? Because you say 60 days, it's the funnel running.
Yep.
We have to, because there's no funding.
Yeah, they're not funding.
They're
They're
not
not
funding in like Excel, so because we our package,
Yep.
we start the 28th of November. So and in 4 days we have 13 members.
Okay.
You can answer that one if you want.
Sure. So first off, you got 13, I'm hearing you got 13 trial buyers, right? So they went through stage 1, skeptical, skeptical and curious. Right? So now this is a stage where they are, like I said, 1 foot in, but half body turn, away. Because they don't know what to expect. They don't know, like, what they're supposed to be doing, how the process looks like. A lot of, like, have you ever heard the term of buyer's remorse? Buyer's remorse is that feeling you get when you just put down $900 on a brand new Mac, and then you question, do I really need it? Right? Everybody knows that feeling? So that's what it is. And the problem is you're not in the store, you're at your computer with your life, you get distracted, plus your family doesn't help. I mean, how many of you guys have the privilege of having a supportive family member that really wants you to do this business and succeed with it? Raise your hand. Wow, that is incredible. I am really envious of you. Nice. For the most part, it's not so. Even this sweet lady was not so supportive. She didn't get in the way, but she wasn't cheering for me either. So, buyer's remorse is real. 10 times as real online. Okay, and when it comes to closing them, or should I say, getting them to fund their account, there has to be this sheer belief. Okay, so they have to go through the incubator. They have to learn more about the process from a bird's eye view. They have to get a feel for the reality, like the real people who make money with the system. I mean, it's great to watch a video with a case study, and LXL has so many case studies, and it's mind-blowing. Most business opportunities don't have that. But even then, the brain still, the tail wags the dog, and the brain wants some real confirmation. That's why Elvis says, do the personal reach out. Right? You got the voucher, the gift voucher, which is also quite useful. So this is where we need to do everything we can to constantly try to maximize the chances a little bit to help that process happen. But nobody in the history of this industry or in the world ever has the definite answer why don't people buy right away, or
But I just I want to know what we have to do now.
I know.
Because next step it's.
So as I mentioned this morning, the system takes care of everything for you.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you don't want to be proactive, it'll still do its job. But there's only ever going to be a small percentage of people.
Yes.
What a funnel does, it just sifts through a lot of dirt to find gold.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to put a lot of dirt in there, otherwise you won't find the gold. So I actually hate it when people sign up straight away, because they almost never fund when they sign up straight away. There's sort of these impulsive people that do things on a whim. It's the ones that start to sign up after day number 20, 21, 22, 23, after we've built a relationship with them, after they've found out about the business, after they've marinated in the system, they know a little bit more about us, top of mind marketing, they feel comfortable, then they go and buy as an educated buyer, not as an impulsive buyer. And I would have to say that since we've started using your traffic, I think people are only up to email number, Martin, what, 16, 17? All right, and there's only probably a couple of thousand of leads that have even passed through that point yet. We haven't even seen the front of the wave of leads complete the whole 2-month cycle yet. So they're still marinating and hibernating, and your best buyers are still to come.
In addition to that, I want to add this. I was sharing the story with the two gentlemen. Last year, I got an email from this lady. She was 70 years old or so. And she said that she's been on my list, getting my emails, and I mail twice, 3 times a day, for 8 months. And finally, this last email got her, and she's ready to buy traffic. 8 months from me? I mean, you Google my name, and you find all this proof, all these testimonials, all these webinars, get on YouTube, all these videos. You kind of have to be brain dead to not see me as a trusted authority, but yet she needed 8 months. Okay, so and that's me doing 3 emails, 2 emails per day. So you never know what happens in their life. You don't know what the situation they're in. Maybe she joined your list, okay, and she was curious about it, but she wasn't ready to join because she had other commitments going on. Maybe in a month from now, she'll lose her day job, and then the penny will drop. It's like, oh my God, I want to do this business opportunity.
Looking so.
Yeah. So you have to be on their radar when they're ready to commit.
Yeah, I've had people on that. I had one guy sign up in another business, 3 years on my list, had never actually read a single email, lost his job, had got paid out, had money, and just he'd seen my name and just kept deleting him and thought, oh, I know the name, it's familiar to me. I'm going to read one of his emails, and signed up for 3 years of being on my list. So as Laurie and I and Igor consistently said to each other, and that's the magic word, is it's consistent effort over time. Yeah. Still now, I only have a 17% funding rate, and I've been in this business for years. Oh. But that 17% funding rate makes a lot of money. You don't need a lot of people. When people sign up, you're always looking for what they call the lifetime value of a customer. What are they worth over a lifetime? And all I've done over time is accumulated one by one, here and there, a little tribe of lifetime value customers. And now we sort of travel this internet sort of journey together. We do things together, we win together, we fail together, but we stick together because we've built that loyalty and we're all pulling in the same direction. So
there's a good question you can ask though in a second. What can I do, not to make it happen right now, but what can I do to speed it up? Okay, which is where the communication you have with your list comes in. your ability to tell a good story, your ability to project your agenda, if you will, right, or your reason why to the list, your ability to come across as genuine. All that stuff, that's what speeds up the process, okay, but not necessarily makes it happen right away. But this is important. I understand your question.
Yeah, but still, is it not, because they still get mails from the fund, as you say, it's 60 days.
That's right, so the first
So
60 days.
probably it's not good to do yet already something, just
I
to
would.
wait, I don't know.
We had a chat over lunch, who was that with? I forget, and they said, how soon should we get proactive? Well, get proactive from day one. If you want to really step up as a leader, remember they're looking for an authority in the business. So for every sign up that you get, send them a personal email saying, hey, saw you signed up. I want to let you know that I'll be personally taking care of you, even though you've been receiving emails from my business partner, Albie, or Laurie, whatever one. You can call us a business partner because we're in business together. But I'm going to be the person who can answer your questions. I want to let you know I'm real and I'm here to help. Okay, and so you can do that from that. That's proactive. But the system, yeah.
I was just letting the gentleman know. And the process you described, it's actually the process that is being implemented in many companies that have the $1 trial or free trial element. You got an email that comes from a person who's on the model, from the coach from within the company. There's companies who like offer coaches to help through the process. So it's definitely, the question you're asking is a really high quality question, okay? And you'll get high quality answers from it that will produce high quality results. It's a good journey. It feels kind of awkward right now, right? There's a lot of it is just washed, like the lines are washed, right? It's not a clear line, it's just a washed line. But that's how it is. You know, how can you teach somebody how to paint a painting? You know, there's rules, of course, some rules of design, but for the most part, they gotta do it enough times to get a feel for it. So you had a question?
Yeah. Can you say a little bit about conversion rates from packages from new traffic? How much clicks you can buy, and then what's the conversion?
Oh, that's a good question. You probably should go around the
experience?
room and ask folks who've purchased and see how many signups they've got.
I can help you with that one, but I won't do it now.
Okay.
We can do it. It's on Skype there because we've got a.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
one more question, please. Just one more.
Is it possible to have French-speaking clicks?
French-speaking? I don't think so, no. Mostly English-speaking to top-tier clicks. Yeah. Top tier means from the top 4 countries: Australia, America, Canada, England. And there's European too, but there's less. English-speaking is the primary.
all right, who got value?
Let's have a 5-minute break instead of 20 minutes, so 5 minutes please. You've got a lot more content than we
5 minutes, grab a coffee, bring